Hello, my name is Andrew and I'm here from Home to Garden, and today I'm going to show you how to change the tap washers and O-rings. Now the reason you may need to do this is you may have water that's continuously dripping from your shower head or your bath or basin spout, or you may have water coming out from above your taps. So please follow me and I'll show you how to do this, and I'll save you some time and money. So the tools you require for the job are as follows. Depending on the type of tap handle you have, you may require a special tool which is for an anti-tamper-proof handle, and this will help undo the nut. Or if it's just a standard tap handle with a nut on the front, then you can use an adjustable spanner. If for any reason the cover plate on the tap is too tight, you may need a pair of multi-grips like this. These are your tube spanners. They'll normally come in a set of 3 with different size heads, which will help you get the spindle out from inside the wall. When you're servicing the tap, you will require a small screwdriver like this to get the O-ring off. You may need some long nose pliers that will help you get the washer out from inside the wall. You will need some tap lubricant for the spindle, and you will need a washer and a couple of O-rings. Now you can find all of these tools and materials at your local hardware store. Now today I'm going to show you how to change the washers and O-rings in these taps, but the procedure I'm going to show you will be the same whether you're changing washers and O-rings in the shower taps, which are in the wall, or on the bath, or on top of the basin. Now before we start that, what we need to do is make sure that the water meter is turned off. Now you'll find your water meter located along the front boundary in your front garden, normally located near a garden tap. Now the water meter is turned off, we have to drain the main line. To do this, we turn on the hot and cold water in the basin in the same room we're working. We leave those taps on and we should see the water stop coming out. If for any reason it doesn't stop, then it means the water meter is not turning off properly. So then we go to the garden tap nearest to the water meter, turn that on and leave it on. That way it can drain there and it won't be draining in the room that you're working in. The first thing we're going to do is unwind the tap all the way. And once that's unwound, we're going to take the tap handle off. This particular tap has a tamper-proof nut at the back of it. You're going to need a tool like this. It has 2 protrusions which will go into 2 notches at the back of the nut. So we locate those notches and we'll start undoing the nut. Once the nut's undone a little bit, you can actually get your fingers onto it and undo it by hand. Once that's undone, the tap handle will come off. And there'll be 2 little bits behind it that you just need to make sure you put away safely so they don't go down the drain. Now there is another form of tap handle which is very common. This particular tap handle has a little nut that holds the handle on. So you take your spanner and you just undo that anti-clockwise until the nut comes off, and then the handle will come off with it. Now we have the tap handle off, we're going to remove the body around the tap. So this particular one comes off quite easily. It may not be the case with other taps, depends on how long it's been since they were last taken off. If for any reason the cover doesn't come off easily, you will need to use a pair of multi-grips like this. Just remember that these do have sharp teeth on them, so if you're not holding the cover tightly when you're turning it, it may slip and scratch the metal. The next part would be to take out the spindle. So if you check inside, you'll see there is a silicone seal which stops the water from penetrating through behind the tiles. When you remove the spindle, this seal may break cleanly. If it doesn't and bits fall out, then it would be advisable to replace that silicone. But if when you put the spindle back, everything looks intact, then it's not so much of a concern. Now we're going to remove the spindle. Now to do that, I'm going to use a tube spanner, and that comes with a little bar which you use to manoeuvre the spanner. The tube spanners will come in normally in a kit of 3, which has 6 different heads, so 2 on each. Now this particular one I'm going to use will fit this spindle. So then we push it on over the nut at the back in the wall, and we put the bar in, keep the pressure on it as we turn it, and the spindle will start to undo. Once it's been loosened, we can continue to turn it by hand, and as we turn it out, it will come out. But what you've got to remember is that there may be some water that's between the shower head and the tap. So when you pull it out, be expecting there may be some water that comes out. And the spindle comes out along with the washer. Now I'm going to show you how to change the washer and O-ring in the spindle. Just be aware this could be a messy job due to being old grease and soap around the spindle. It's advisable to put down some paper like I have here, or an old rag that you're not worried about getting dirty. It's also worth having some extra tissue to hand. Toilet paper is great for this because you can throw it away afterwards, just to wipe the spindle and keep your hands clean so you don't put it over everything. Okay, so now let's get on. So what we do is we start unwinding the spindle. This can sometimes be a little bit stiff, so you can use the tap handle. Just imagine it's like you're turning the tap off, you're turning it in a clockwise motion. Once it gets loose, you just keep winding and it should just push out. So we're going to separate the two pieces. So this is the piece we're going to be working with. So we remove the O-ring, the washer from the spindle, and then you'll see on this particular spindle there's two O-rings. Sometimes there will only be one. So we use our little screwdriver, we just push it in behind the O-ring, and we just pry that off. And do the same with the second one. Okay, so now they're off. We take the tissue and just give the spindle a bit of a clean. You'll see all the old grease coming off. Just wipe it around until it's all gone. Just place that out of the way. And now we're going to put the new O-ring on. So we take the O-ring and we slide it over the top like so. And we take the second O-ring and we put that on over the top. Okay, now that's on, what we're going to do is slide it back into the housing. Before we push it all the way down, take the grease and we're just going to put a little bit of grease around the threaded part of the spindle. Don't need much. What we're going to do is we're just going to feed that around all of the thread. Once that's in, we just wind it back all the way. You may need the tap handle because the new O-rings will be a bit tighter. We do that anti-clockwise if we're undoing the tap until that is level with the end. We're then going to squeeze a little bit of grease just in the end where the new washer is going to go. That'll just hold it in position. We slide the new washer back into there, and now you're ready to go. The only thing you need to be aware of is this red washer can sometimes get damaged. If for any reason it does get damaged, please do replace it. You can get these washers and this washer and the O-rings from your local hardware store. And now we're going to put it back into this breech. We have our spindle with our new washer and O-ring, and now we're going to put it back. So we're basically following the same procedure, just going back the other way. So we put it in to the breech in the wall. We'll tighten it up as much as we can by hand. Once we have it tight by hand, we slip our tube spanner over the nut and just go up as tight as we can with that. And we take our bar and just give it a little tweak. And once that's tight, we can put our cover plate back. We put that back on, we slide that on clockwise, just do that up by hand. And now we're going to put the tap handle back on. We're going to put our anti-vandal proof nut on, make sure that the notches are facing towards the wall. And we take a little horseshoe, which is what we use to keep the nut in place when we put the handle on. That goes into the notch on the end of the spindle. We locate the tap handle, slide the nut back and start to feed that in by hand. Once that's tight and as far as we can get it, we then take the little tool we use with the two protrusions located in the notches and just finish tightening that nut. And that is how you change the washer and O-ring in your spindle. Finishing off, what we do is we turn off the tap all the way. Once that tap is turned off, we can start on the new one. So what we're going to do first of all is open that tap up all the way, and then we're going to follow the same procedure until we've changed the washer and O-ring as before. Now once that's done, we make sure both the taps are turned off. And then we'll also turn off the tap that we opened up to drain the main in the basin in the same room, and we'll turn off the garden tap near the water meter. Once they're all switched off, we can turn the mains on, and then we come back into the room and just check by turning both the taps on and off a couple of times. Check sure there's no drips coming from the shower. If there's no drips, then you've done a great job. And that is how you change your washers and O-rings in your taps. And it's important to note that when you're at the stage of the service when you're undoing the tap fully and you can't turn it more than half a turn, it means you have a problem. It means that your spindle is in a bad way. So if you were to put a new washer in and try and tighten up the spindle, it would not seal and you could end up with water damage. At this point, please call a plumber, as they will have the tools to clean the spindle correctly and do the job well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please press the like button below and send it on to your friends and family. And if you have any ideas for some handy tips, put them in the comments below and I'll be sure to review them. Thank you for watching. You've been watching Andrew from Home to Garden. I'll see you again soon.